Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another severe weather forecast here. We're continuing to monitor today's outlook as we do have a moderate now, as the Storm Projection Center has updated now. North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin are under that moderate risk, and even the tip of South Dakota. We're going to be monitoring the really big probability for extreme winds, as we can possibly see a derecho and even a squall line here for these areas, and also going to monitor the probability for maybe a couple spotty tornadoes and very large hail. Before we get in the video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and also the post notification icon to show your awesome support. Here in today's video, we're going to be looking at the timing, the location, and also who can see the worst of the severe weather. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Here's a look at the day 1 outlook, and as you see here, we had that moderate risk, a level 4 out of a 5, so very significant severe weather risk today, all the way from the western portion of Wisconsin to the area of southeastern and south central portions of North Dakota. This moderate risk actually contains 1.2 million people, so actually a lot of people are under this level 4. Fargo, North Dakota, Duluth, Minnesota, Grand Forks, North Dakota, Moorhead, Minnesota, and Superior, Wisconsin are under this moderate risk. This enhanced risk is also very widespread, all the way from the North Dakota area near Bismarck, near Aberdeen as well, all the way area into the mid area of the Michigan Panhandle area in the far northwestern part there near Wisconsin border. We have 2.5 million people under this enhanced risk, which is actually a lot of people. As you see, all the severe weather is kind of maintaining in the Midwest for today. It's kind of funny how we're seeing all the layers just in the one contained area. Really, it's kind of cool to see that there. Minneapolis, Minnesota is actually under the enhanced risk, so really got to watch out if you're in Minnesota, in the Minneapolis area, St. Paul as well, Plymouth, Broken Park, and Coon Rapids, Minnesota. We also have the areas, I believe, near Bismarck, also including areas near the Minnesota and North Dakota, Canada border general area. And also we're including Aberdeen in this enhanced risk as well in South Dakota. The slight risk, it also contains around 3.2 million people also as well in the Midwest. Rochester, Bloomington, Eagan, Eden Prairie, and Eau Claire, Wisconsin are under the slight risk, and then around 7 million people under this marginal risk, including Raleigh, Greensboro, Durham, Winston-Salem, and Richmond, those areas. But we're also including areas as well as Green Bay, also including areas just north of up here, and also portions of near the Iowa and Minnesota border. For the day 2 outlook, here we are seeing a slight risk here as well. Actually, I forgot to look at the tornado probability and all that. Tornado probability is actually at 5% chance, so as you say, it is a decent probability. That's not the main concern. The main concern is the winds, which is why we're going to be seeing this really high probability, which is why we have a moderate due to the potential derecho, or derecho, whatever you want to call it, derecho, which brings in extremely gusty winds here in these front lines. These are very fast-moving storms. We have around 4 million people under this 5% chance for tornadoes, including Minneapolis, St. Paul, Fargo, Duluth, and Plymouth. And 2% chance includes 3 million people, also including Bloomington, Eagan, Eden Prairie, Eau Claire, and Burnsville, Minnesota. Wind probability, of course, at a 45% chance, significant risk here, including North Dakota, Minnesota, and Minnesota, and Wisconsin. I don't know why I repeated that twice. This is exactly why we have the moderate risk, because of the 45% chance significant risk. Under that significant risk includes 4 million people, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Fargo, Duluth, and Plymouth, and then the 45% chance around 1.3 million people, including Fargo, Duluth, Grand Forks, Moorhead, and Superior, Wisconsin. 15% chance for winds today. 30% chance includes 2.5 million, including the areas near Rochester as well. That 30% chance includes Rochester, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Plymouth, Broken Park, and Coon Rapids. And the 15% also includes Rochester, Bloomington, Eagan, and Eau Claire. Hail probability is a bit on the lower side, 15% chance significant risk. I really thought we were going to have a 30% chance non-hatch risk, but I was a bit wrong on that. But 50% chance for around just over 1 million people, including Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks, Minute, and Moorhead. Now let's go and check and look at now the day 2 outlook here, which I was going to look at. We now have around 11.2 million people on a slight risk for tomorrow. As you tell, the Great Lakes in Minnesota and Midwest area is back in the severe weather threat to back-to-back days. Milwaukee, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Madison, Sioux Falls are under this severe weather risk. So as you can tell, it's pushing to the east as we include now Madison, Milwaukee, Marquette, also including areas near Muskegon, Traverse City, Duluth, Minneapolis, areas near, of course, Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and just a general area. Tornado probability, 5% chance for tomorrow. It's actually a good probability, back-to-back 5% chance, including 5 million people. Big cities like Minneapolis and St. Paul, even Rochester, are under that 5% chance. Wind probability, 15% chance, significant risk, as well as the hail probability. Now let's go take a look at the NAM3 model. Here's a look at the NAM3 model. As you see, we are seeing this beginning of the squall line formation here for a portion of North Dakota with this enclosed low pressure system. You can definitely see this is actually a derecho because it's over this low pressure system, which is a derecho. Squall lines kind of have the low pressure kind of behind it. As you see, this can really affect portions of North Dakota for the first coming hours. Obviously, we can see some supercells and December discrete storms developing scatteredly across this area. But look at this. This is a beautiful system here, a beautiful derecho, very well organized, including areas near Detroit Lakes, areas near the portion of North Dakota, including areas like Aberdeen, affecting areas near Detroit Lakes, and then heading to the areas by tomorrow for areas near Rochester, Minneapolis, St. Paul, even Duluth, Minnesota, and then that's where we can possibly see that big threat for wind and hail tomorrow. Before we actually get further in the now Cape and Cap and all that, I do want to point out that I do believe we could have an enhanced risk tomorrow here due to the wind probability either, or the wind or hail probability, maybe even both. I do say this enhanced risk could very well possibly go for this general area right here, possibly either, maybe even this whole area really. And who knows, maybe even a little moderate right here. Maybe even a moderate, who knows. But enhanced risk I do think will happen. Then there is maybe a smaller probability for a moderate tomorrow. But I'm going to stick with enhanced risk. Now let's go and check a look at the Cape, the Cap, and all those numbers there and portions of the pivotal weather. Here's a look at the Cape values here now. As we now get into the next coming hour, we're going to be seeing a ton of energy coming in now in the atmosphere right for those areas for severe weather, including the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, even Nebraska. Going to be seeing some nice Cape value numbers. So obviously, as we get the overday heating with the sun brightens up, temperatures increase, humidity increases, that's when these storms are really going to start developing here. We do actually have 4,800 joules per kilogram, just getting to that 5,000 joule per kilogram mark. As you see, 4,955, just getting that area. As you see, you're going to see the highest amount of energy, including North Dakota, which is where we can possibly have that first squall line kind of developing there. That's where you're seeing those semi-linear or quasi-linear storms developing, where QLCS, and then it becomes a very large derecho stretching from South Dakota all the way for portions of northwestern Minnesota. Later in the evening, this amount of energy just absolutely just destroys the Cape value graph. It's all the way up here, really, basically. That's a great number, really. Let me just tell you that. We're going to possibly just get over 5,400 joules per kilogram, possibly maybe even 5,500 joules per kilogram, but very nice amount of energy. Let me go and check out now the skew T chart. As you see, we possibly do maybe have a tornado as a possible hazard with a 5.6 in the STP, and Cap will be extremely low. So really, this actually could possibly see a decent amount of tornadoes. Really, 10% chance. I would say 10% chance. It's just that this will be mainly a wind threat because of the derecho. If it weren't a huge derecho, then I would say 10% chance. But that's the only thing that's keeping me from that really increasement. Tornado probability as hazard as well for western Minnesota at 4 on the STP with a 22.7 on SCP. So these are some nice numbers on the skew T chart and photographs. Really, let me tell you that. These are some nice numbers. 4,700 for portions of North Dakota. Guess what? Potential hazard as a tornado with a 4 on the STP. So these are some nice numbers. And then the energy kind of dies down as we get later into the early morning around 1 a.m., around noon, not noon, or you can say noon for night or midnight. And then by early tomorrow morning, we kind of see some 2,000, even close to 3,000. So we're already starting off the day with 90+ energy. And then look at this, 5,800 joules per kilogram, possibly 5,000, maybe even 6,000 there. And then that's tomorrow, though. So that's why I am monitoring that potential enhanced, if not moderate, for tomorrow. Cap numbers here, they are going to be mainly on the lower side. Like I said, these cap numbers, I'm not looking at cap, I'm looking at cap. These cap numbers won't be too extremely impressive, or won't cap out really. As you see, South Dakota, negative 187. That's kind of getting close to the higher side. But areas in North Dakota, negative 44, negative 53, possibly negative 108, all those numbers there. And then look at this by later this evening, negative 78, possibly negative 55. It will cap out for sure, without a doubt, for portions of North Dakota. As you see, we have a non-hazard because it's so high, the cap. But look here, negative 101. We should have a hazard here. Actually, I don't know. We don't have a hazard here. That's strange. As you see, negative 74, negative 66, negative 39. Nice numbers. Then of course it caps out later in the evening, as it will do, or as it always does. Then tomorrow we're going to be seeing obviously some nice numbers, negative 23, some nice decent hundreds, and then it caps out once again in the evening. Let's go and check out now supercell composite parameter. As you see, this is measuring the probability for a supercell. Anything higher than a 25 is considered a high probability. Supercells bring in tornadoes, obviously tide rotation, hook echoes, strong wind, and damaging hail. As you see, starting off the day, really as of now, a 19 already for South Dakota. A 19, that's actually a decent number already. Marginal severe weather threat because caps, or the Cape has to get a little higher, really. It's not at the mark where it's super high. It's kind of unlimited, or it's kind of limited. But look at later today, we're going to be seeing possibly a 37 on the SCP, tornado probability, 3 on the STP, a negative 82 as cap. So this is actually a perfect condition. I do see a decent amount of tornadoes for today, maybe over 10. 38 here, obviously we have a 4.5 on the STP here, a negative 16 on as the cap. So really nothing's too bad, really. And then carrying on right in the evening hours, a 22 does actually make its way towards Minnesota, including marginal tornado threat with a 2.8 on STP, but cap is negative 166, which is why it's probably a marginal threat. And then as we get into tomorrow, that's when we'll be seeing those supercells as well later on tomorrow. Last thing we'll be looking at is the wind shear. Wind shear is a factor in severe weather, and it's definitely going to be there. So this is exactly why we have that 45% chance for winds, because you're going to see those squalls going to be following this low pressure system that's bringing in possibly 40, 50 knots here for these areas. So this is actually going to wrap up the video, everybody. Hope you guys did enjoy the severe weather forecast here on the severe weather event for the Midwest. Obviously, we have a moderate risk, so that's actually a decent probability, more than a decent probability. Obviously, 45% chance significant risk for winds, tornado probabilities up to 5, and also 15% chance hatch risk for hail. So we are seeing a pretty active day for severe weather. We kind of have yet to really see multiple warnings and watches yet, as Cape has to get a little higher. And obviously, we need more humidity to come in the atmosphere, which is exactly why 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock is the most favorable time for severe weather. But be sure to like the button if you really enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new to show your awesome support. And also hit the post notification icon so you get notified as soon as I make a video. Hope you guys did enjoy the video and enjoy your day.